Yes, it's recording now. Okay. So before I begin, maybe just a little disclaimer, yeah. So this talk may be about breathing. So it will not represent any contrary or any medical advice or override any medical guidance that you may have at this moment. And this talk is purely based on my own practice experience and personal exploration, and also about the direction that I have chosen for myself and my work. And so if you hear something that sounds different from what your doctor are saying, yeah, please don't be confused. Yeah, that's totally okay. And this is not meant to replace any medical knowledge. All right. Um, or maybe I rather say that it offers a complementary perspective of um, of how you may want to implement it in your life experience. Yeah. Okay, before we begin, I would like to ask you, yeah, let me. Okay, when you think about breathing, what comes to mind? Any thoughts, any question, maybe a discomfort or comfort, any thing that you like to share, or any maybe insecurity? Okay, when you come to breathing, what comes to mind? Would you want to share a little bit so that I know if I or throughout the session I may want to cover some of your concern. Okay, you can put in chat box, you can unmute. There's not many of us. What comes to mind? At least say something so that I know that there's people that you are there at the end of the other screen. Yeah. 有吗？有一些 concern，一些不是很熟啊，想知道，可是又不是很 sure 的一些东西，有吗？What do you what where what motivates you? All right, Chinese says sometimes I think I have been holding my breath when I'm stressed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, then later we will explore why it happens that way. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Everyone feel very confident about breathing, is it? No problem. Or how are you breathing now? So far, so good. Very good. No concern. Okay, that's good. Okay. So when you come to learn about breathing, maybe we just explore how breathing works first. Yeah. So I'll play this video. Can see, yeah. Can you see the video when it's under a vacuum, which has low pressure inside the vacuum chamber, and the balloon will expand. And you expand more and more. Yeah. So breathing works like that. Air moves from high pressure to low pressure. So after exhaling, inside and outside pressure, uh, it balances up. So all gas follow these simple rules. that that's the way how our breathing works. All right. So, okay. Um, can you see the video? What is that thing that's moving? So this is the breathing muscles we call diaphragm. And when this diaphragm moves, it it's like pressing the pressure and changing the pressure of our chest cavity. So when you inhale, diaphragm moves down, chest expand, and the space increases. And when the space increases, the um the pressure, the air from the outside is sucked inside. So we get the air or the oxygen into our lungs. All right. So when we exhale, the diaphragm relaxes. Okay. Relaxes means that it moves up and the ribs relax, chest string, that means the lung strings, space decreases and air flows up. So the body, mm, and it actually changes according to pressure. The body does this automatically every breath. Okay, every breath. So let's move, let's explore further. But when you talk about respiration, right, we know from our biology time, there are two very common terminology, the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. We know that we breathe in oxygen and then we breathe out carbon dioxide. All right. And when we breathe in through the we call trachea, and then the tubes into the lungs, it enters, it fills in the lungs. If you were to Google everywhere, we know that there's like a alveoli and it looks like a grape, all right, at the end or at the whole of the lung area. It captured or it fills in the air and then when it enters this tiny sac, so when you have a greater oxygen level in the lung and lesser oxygen level in the blood, so the oxygen from the blood from the lung will enter the bloodstream. Yeah, so low pressure to high pressure ma. And then from there the blood that travels throughout our whole bodies, which carry carbon dioxide, will reach the lung level, and that's when the exchange of gas happen. Okay, so on every breath, so until the inhale and exhale is balanced out. So the oxygen is what the body needs to make energy. The carbon dioxide is a waste product that your body needs to actually remove it. All right. So we breathe out carbon dioxide and mm, and the oxygen enters our bloodstream and is delivered into the whole bodies and giving us energy. So that's basically the basic of it. So what we actually care about is how good are we or how complete are we in our inhalation so that we get proper intake of oxygen and exhalation so that we can actually balance out and actually expel the waste from the body. Okay, so from here, we know that we bring in oxygen that needed for metabolism. okay? Because oxygen produce energy. And from there, um, we also need proper exhalation because that helps to regulate our pH level and also that so like if some people are inhaler, some people are exhaler, some people exhale more than the inhale. Some people inhale, they don't exhale that much. That means the cycle of inhalation and the cycle of exhalation is not balanced out. What happened is that when when we inhale, not completely because of certain things that I will discuss later, the body is not having enough oxygen to build enough energy level. So we also learn that when you don't exhale well, the body is always in the area where always in a state whereby it's producing stress. We call it stress response. Yeah. So like what Chenny said just now, sometimes I feel that I have a little stressed and holding my breath. All right. So it is holding breath is not able to fully release the breath on the exhalation level. Okay. So we are looking at that when you don't exhale fully, we're looking at problems such as chronic fatigue. Some people experience 胀风, flatulent in the belly area. Some people experience dizziness also. And a lot of time that people experience a lot of stress response that can impact the brain function. So maybe chest pain and things like that. Yeah. So also that when you don't have enough mm, don't have enough awareness to notice that this imbalance happen in your breathing, what then you're always stuck in the same cycle, not able to change this. All right. So we're looking at this balance. And here I want to share a little bit about my story lah, huh? When I was very young, not actually very young, I maybe through when I enter poverty, maybe puberty, maybe about age 12, 13. All right. I have always been disturbed with asthma attack. In fact, I had this asthma attack almost like every night. All right. And throughout the day also. So sometimes when I was exposed to the exposed to um, maybe cold air cons. Sometimes when I'm exposed to something like smoke or trigger by physical activities. So it happened. And I've spent almost every day worrying what tonight will bring. All right. It is a condition, when people have asthma, they cannot breathe. The breathing passage is like restricted and not able to feel the proper um proper safety feeling that you think that everything will be over. It's like you die any moment. So that was my experience when I was very young. And there's one night I made a very foolish decision. That was when you don't know the value of life at that time. So when I was about 13, there was one night when I had that asthma attack quite late. It was like 2, 3 o'clock at night, and I couldn't sleep. And when that happened, I knew that there was a trigger, and I knew that the asthma attacks coming. And at that time, they haven't actually invented the inhaler yet. So we don't have the ability to actually mm, we don't have the ability to actually self-manage. So at that time, I was having a very foolish decision. I make a decision that I'm going to die this tonight. I'm going to let myself experience this breathing discomfort, and if it's going to end up in me dying, let's be it. I want to like feel at that time is like feeling fed up with this, the fear of having asthma. So what happened was I sat up and I began to notice, I began to pay attention to my breathing. So every inhale, I know that I'm inhaling. I know that I'm not dead yet. And every exhale, I know that I'm able to exhale. That means I'm not dead yet. And then I pause a moment to see whether the next inhale came, and then to see whether the next exhale happened. And I was repeating this cycle very carefully because I was getting ready that this may be the last breath. This set may be the last breath. This set may be the last breath. And I actually sat down and did this. And then throughout that process, actually I felt better. And I feel like lying down because it was like I want to lie down and I want to relax. And I forgotten when I actually fell asleep. And and then I woke up the next day. I thought I was dead, but I did wake up the next day. All right. So only recently I knew that what happened to me at that time. I was actually practicing this. All right. I was actually practicing what I call breathing balance. It is something like hyperventilation reduction. You know, when someone is having asthma attack, actually one of the reasons is that the carbon dioxide of the body is too low because we are not breathing enough oxygen. The carbon dioxide from the body is low, so the body will do certain things to restrict further um, further expellation of air. So what happened is that they actually constrict the trachea. So I'm not able to exhale very well. All right. So this is what we call breathing balance. We function best actually when each phrases of the inhale and exhale is allowed to is fully to it is full and complete cycle. That means the breath is able to fulfill itself and function in harmony. Okay? After breathing out, and of course, there is a residuary breath, like residuary air inside the blood and inside the lung to balance up itself. And our body use the activation, relaxation, these three steps, and equilibrium, these three steps to maintain the balance. Activation means what? Activation means that the diaphragm is being activated to pull in air. Relaxation means what? Means that the diaphragm relaxes and go back to its original place. Equilibrium is the phrase between between each cycle of breath, meaning that when you inhale, when you exhale, there is a gap. We call it equilibrium because in this gap, the body nervous system is fully regained into its resting mode. So what happened in this equilibrium state is that in this gap before the next inhalation comes, is that the body is fully rested and allowing the balancing of the inhale of the oxygen and carbon dioxide from the blood to the lung to balance itself. And then the next inhale comes. So what happened to me last time when I was paying attention to my breathing and getting ready that each breath may be the last breath, what happened is that I slow down the process of breathing and activate the equilibrium state. If I do not pay attention to my breathing at that time, I autopilot the fear and the discomfort. I actually aggravate what we call the hyperventilation. It's like in fear, you need to breathe in more. So that will actually stimulate a quick inhale before you exhale fully. Yeah, it's like you're in rush to get the next next sets of air. So you do not stay in that equilibrium state whereby your lung and blood balance itself up. So this is a very important pause. Okay? It's a resting phrase, a moment of balance. And that was why I actually could live throughout the night when my attack happened. Yeah, without any inhaler or medical assistant. All right. So maybe we try a little bit. Yeah, we calculate our breathing. So each of us, I just want you to breathe in and out naturally. Yeah, no control. Even you know that they need to be an inhale, need to be exhale, need to be equilibrium. But I don't want you to manipulate your breathing. I want you to be in this present moment. Just tune into the breathing to calculate how many breaths you have in a minute. Just normal breathing. So just for you to measure the breathing pattern. Okay? Are y'all ready? Are y'all still there? Are y'all still there? Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay, Samantha. Good. You're still there, right? Okay. Ready, yeah? So when you are here, right this moment, I do not want you to even adjust the posture, no need. Just where you are, But don't forget the counting because a lot of people they just calculate and then they forgot how many and then they lost counting. Okay, so when I say ready, you start to calculate. Each inhale, exhale, consider as one breath. Inhale, exhale, consider as two breath. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so we get ready, yeah. So before that, hold on. Okay, before the, hold on. Okay, ready, yeah. One, two, three, go. Okay, how many? Can you put on the chat? 多少次呼吸？11, 11. How about the rest? How about Samantha? 16. Yeah. How about Jingy? 16. OK, 很好。All right, let's see 啊。看到吗？even yeah lah, borderline 咯，哈。Chen Yi and Yi Mei borderline, yeah. So still considering relax. In the state of relaxation means that the inhale, exhale, and the equilibrium state is quite balanced. Okay, so when you reach 12 upwards, it's considered the the rhythm is considered disturbed. Okay, not so smooth anymore. Either you're not fully inhaling or you're not fully exhaling or you are in a hurry to take the next inhale after you exhale. Okay, so let's just checklist, breathing checklist. So, firstly, in order for that balance, activation, relaxation, and equilibrium balance to happen, we need to have these four lists in check. All right. So in order for the diaphragm, which I will explain later in why, how, yeah. In order for the diaphragm to move down or up in a relaxed state, the pelvic floor need to be relaxed. The belly region need to gather enough strength and also coordinate with relaxation. This is the first checklist. Okay, and then the intercostal muscles, the second one, need to be fully relaxed in order for the lung to expand because that ribs needs to expand. 你的肋骨会要有空间膨胀上来 and then have the flexibility or elasticity to gather back. So this is the second. All right. And then any tension in the muscles, the bottom here, yeah, any tension in the muscle will actually disturb this process. All right. And then the ability for the body to return to the full flow. All right. So this will be, this will let us experience the breathing at fullest. Okay, so let's just see what happened, yeah? So can you see this? I would say the orchestra, but let's see this, yeah? This is the orchestra. So this is the orchestra. Can you see? The diaphragm moves down, the lung expand, and then there is a rhythm where the heart will beat according to that movement. And in that movement, can you see that the bottom, our stomach, our intestines, our pancreas, all the rest of the bottom organs, they are also moving. All right, there's also movement to facilitate digestion, facilitate circulation. Can you see? Yeah. So all these are what I call orchestra. Orchestra means that everyone works in its fullest capacity, and when it complement each other, and that is when the body is at its fullest potential. It's so beautiful. It's like a concert. All right. So all this happen when we talk about breathing. It stimulates this orchestra. So it's not just your lung expanding, but breathing should involve the whole body. So what I say is that, can you see on the left side, yeah, there is like a left side and the right side of the diaphragm. Okay, so during the equilibrium, the diaphragm rest lor. That means go into the full resting position. And can you see like the left and the right side, there is something we call crust, and in plural it called crura. This crura is attached to our lower back. That attached to the diaphragm and towards the lower back. And in order for the diaphragm to be activated, the crura needs to like be activated, like tuck a little bit. Okay, it's like make a tuck to activate the diaphragm. So it comes from the lower back. So this is where the core comes in. If you have a weak core, means that this will not happen very effortlessly. So this will be disturbed. So the movement of the diaphragm will be disturbed. So don't think that your lower back has nothing to do with your diaphragm or your breathing. No, it's very much related. And when that happens, when it makes a tuck, it pulls the diaphragm down or activate the diaphragm downward movement to let the lung expand. The belly will be pushed out. So when you inhale, the belly should be out, not in. Yeah? So let's observe your breathing now. Inhale. Is out or in? All right. So if it is in, right? If it is in, right, means that this process is disturbed. Okay, what time is it? Okay. This process is disturbed. And why is it disturbed? Because most of us are being born to actually, we start with the orchestra. We started with the concert. all our breathing were perfect. We're able to breathe so beautifully, like little children. Okay, most people are like that unless you are born with specific issues. All right. So this is what we call breathing in harmony with the nature. Our needs at that time are being fulfilled. Every breath is a fulfillment of our needs. Every exhale, every inhale, every equilibrium, it fulfills the needs at that particular seconds. All right. So when our sometimes in the process of growing up, or maybe all the time, our needs were not being fulfilled. So what happened is that we adapt and we accumulate certain strategies to protect revisiting certain feelings, revisiting certain traumas. So that is when muscles starts to change from relaxed to tensed. It can happen anywhere. Most of the time, it is in the heart region. All right, so that affects the breathing patterns. What happened is that our inner life began to shift at that moment. When we talk about needs, it's like basic needs of love, care, trust. All right. So what happened if you don't have the diaphragm moving so smoothly, 你的横膈膜没有办法压到最理想的那一个形状 this will happen. Your muscles around the neck and the shoulders here will pull up. So you're actually breathing into the top. It's like pulling in air from muscles. Yeah. So from this tension, it's like you're breathing with tension. So what we call in our CAT term is that you're breathing to the back. You're actually not breathing from the expansion of the lung. You're actually pulling air. So you can try, yeah. All of us, we try. We try. We close our mouth and we sit upright a bit. Let's just try to breathe. Feeling the expansion of your lungs and the outward movement of your belly. And now I want you to try another version. You open your mouth and you breathe from the mouth. Can you feel the difference? Can you feel the difference? When you're breathing into the belly, you're breathing using the diaphragm. But if you grasping for air from these muscles, meaning that you're breathing through the mouth, it's like you are drowning. It actually pulls breath from the tension. Okay, so it accumulates. If you see the pictures, it accumulate tension in the neck region, and you actually do not have enough elastic expansion from the lung. So actually quite drain up. The lung quite drain up. So this is like what usually happen. Yeah, we sit, and then we sit, and then we're not breathing enough. And the heart is also not able to beat well, to function well. Can see? Yeah. So posture is very related to your breathing. Okay, 看到吗？So when you change your posture, yeah, and the body don't have to protect you, and posture from here to here is not just to look nice, it's to improve the breathing. So immediately after you improve your posture, almost every time I can see the face color change. It become glowing. Okay, so something like that. And if you have this, you can imagine how's the breathing pattern like. Okay, if you are straightened up, you can imagine how much more oxygen that you can feed your body. So breathing is, if you hold your body up in a rigid position, you actually stimulate the tension from the neck and the shoulder to breathe air from tension. All right, it affects the lower back and then it harden the upper body. If you have like a collapsed posture, yeah, it's actually the lung don't expand fully as well. All right, so it's breathing is about the whole body, the orchestra, the concert. All right, not just so from here to here, what we call centering. This is like a big improvement already in the breathing. All right, so when you move from here to straighten up the body, the breath actually have that very, very healthy passage. Okay, from the nose to the lung, the belly expand, what we call orchestra. Okay, so how you breathe? It's like you allow the air to move into the whole body so that it's like the leaf falling, right? It's like there is a natural pattern happening. This is what we call circulation. Everything works in harmony. Okay, so this is a small tip that I want to share with you all before we actually end our session. A very small tip. You know, when we breathe, we need to breathe from the nose. When you breathe through the mouth, we actually 20% less oxygen intake. All right. So when we breathe through the nose, the air goes in and went through all the filter, went through yeah, and then it gives enough mucus and things like that to actually complete the process of the air intake. But when you use your mouth, it doesn't have that process. It straight away goes in. So what happened is when people are constantly using the mouth to breathe, like when I was having asthma when I was young, I was actually a mouth breather. I I breathe from the mouth because I was having the fear of not having enough air. The body immediate response is like drowning, immediately using the mouth to breathe. And that got me going for many, many years until I learned that breathing should comes from the nose. And that is when the muscles of the diaphragm is being trained to be activated and to relax. So actually training the diaphragm muscles when you breathe through the nose. Okay, inside each nostril, there's three parts of the nose. Each bottom part, middle part, and the top part here. Yeah, each correspond to different areas of our function. Lower opening, the floor of the nose, and the top of we call it mouth palate. Yeah, where the tongue touch the top of your mouth. that is the first phrase. So when you try to inhale now, did the tongue move up or not? Or if your tongue is not touching the top of your mouth, means that you're breathing through the mouth. When you're breathing through the nose, the tongue should touch the top part of your mouth. All right. And this stimulates our instinct reptilian brain, our reflex. So some people don't not very good in reflex anymore. Yeah. Some people they fall easily. They fall when they fall, they do not have that instinct to protect themselves in a way that we uh in a way that the body intelligence were built to function. So usually this is when we do not breathe, do not breathe well in the lower part, lower opening of the nose. Middle opening is your is this part. Is actually related to our emotion. Emotion means that when you pay attention to your heart, so ignore the writing, yeah, some mistake. The middle part here, yeah, here. When you pay attention to your heart now, feel your heart. You're actually feeling that the breath will be more centered around the center part of your nose. I don't know whether you're sensitive enough to sense it, but actually, this is the area that stimulate when we are being stimulated when um, we are the feeling beings. We feel a lot. Okay, so we breathe also very completely in the middle part of our nose. The top part of the nose, y'all can stimulate it by sitting up straight. Sitting up straight or standing up straight, it actually connects to our brain, stimulate intelligence. Yeah, and instinct, intuition, and all that. So all three parts, right, is very important. So if we are like that and we breathe through our mouth, we actually lost a lot of our body potential, brain potential, body and mind potential. All right. So, Kat, we talk about connections in critical alignment therapy. We talk about connections. Why we want to connect? We want to bring back the original. We want to stimulate the best tension released, the best original posture to come back so that the orchestra can rebuild. Otherwise, even a small part, even your ankle tension also disturb the orchestra. We must regain back. These were the connections that we actually educated in CAT, and actually part of the very important process is how you breathe and how your posture affects that breathing. So that connection bring back original breath. Okay, so I have not introduced myself. After so long, I talk. Yeah, don't know who am I. So I'm Michelle. I'm the founder of Catalyst Academy and also a CAT instructor. And I have been working with the I started as a yoga teacher in 2006, and my experience as a CAT teacher was 11 years. Okay. Yeah. So I am very passionate in posture and breathing, and how by changing or by us being more aware of all this can improve our life, not just the health, but improve our life. So if you 調氣唔順, your life also 唔順. All right, your life cannot be smooth. So that is why I place very high importance in posture and breathing. Yeah, not to stimulate your fear, to say that, oh, if you don't breathe, if you don't have good posture, you end up in pain and suffering. Actually, cannot end up in wheelchair. A lot of people say that. Not only that, but you missed a lot of piece and pieces in life that it can be beautiful, it can be strong, it can be smooth. The process can be smooth. All right. So I'll ends today's talk. Yeah. And I still have time to um yeah, if you want to ask any question, yeah, I'll be here. Otherwise, you may take your leave. And thank you so much for joining the talk today. And I hope that I hope that you have something take away from today's talk. Thank you so much. Warm one, huh? Cat, same like yoga. Let me share with you like mm, okay, the one I share with you one PPT, yeah. This one. Cat is something like that. Oh, actually, I have one more to share. Wait, Wong, give me a minute. Okay, thank you for asking, Wong. Cat is something like that. Can you see the screen? Yeah. So yoga is something like that. You have this shape of the spine, and then you do your yoga posture, the downward dog. You still maintain this shape of the spine. For cat, right? You from the shape, from the original shape means that from your accumulated so-called back posture, we work to change the shape of the spine first. Yeah. And then when you do your posture in yoga, it will be, we call it your habitual pattern can be break. Okay. So this is yoga lah. So it's something like that. Okay, so we have this type of exercises whereby we learn the movement pattern first before we move to yoga posture lah. So something like that. We learn how to connect the head back into the upper back. We don't want to use the lower back anymore. We don't want you to use the tension coming from the shoulders. How do you stimulate the spine to move in a way that is meant to be? Yeah. So we use a lot of time to actually and indulge in changing the body faulty patterns. Okay, so relax uh, the area where it is blocking your breathing, and then yeah, and then unblock it so that it's not yoga per se, but it's complement very well with yoga. Okay, so something like that we work. Okay. Have
Okay,
I
thank
answered
you.
your question, Wong?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So any other question? Yeah. If no more question, then maybe we will call it a day and enjoy the rest of your weekends. And we see each other again in the next talk. All right. Thank you.